I am going to give a review in English, a very important topic. Do School Kill Creativity by Sir Ken Robinson. About this topic, we will listen review. We live in an age of unprecedented technological advancement, yet our most vital system, education, is stuck in the 19th century. Sir Ken Robinson's 2006 TED Talk remains the most watched for a reason. It touches a nerve. He argues that we are systematically educating people out of their creative capacities. Robinson starts with a uh, provocative claim: creativity is now as important in education as literacy, and we should treat it with the same status. Why literacy? Because literacy was the gatekeeper of the industrial age. If you could not read or write, you could not work in a factory or an office. But in the 2020s and beyond, AI and automation handle the literacy of data. What remains uniquely human is the ability to connect uh, disparate ideas, the essence of creativity. Robinson notes that if you tell someone at a dinner party you work in education, they often look for the nearest exit. Why? Because education is a deeply personal, often painful subject. Everyone has a vested interest in it because it is meant to take us into a future we can't grasp. Children starting school today will retire in 2065. Uh, we are attempting to prepare them for a world 4 decades from now using a curriculum designed 4 decades ago. This unpredictability is the central challenge of our era. Robinson tells the famous story of 6 year old drawing God. When her teacher said, "Nobody knows what God looks like," the girl replied, "They will in a minute." Kids are naturally willing to take a chance. If they don't know the answer, they will have a go. They are not frightened of being wrong. By the time we become adults, most of us have lost that capacity. We have become frightened of being wrong. Corporate culture, we run our companies this way. We stigmatize mistakes. National education system, we have built systems where mistakes are the worst thing you can make. All children are born artists. Picasso once said, "The problem is to remain an artist as we grow up." Robinson believes we don't grow into creativity, we grow out of it, or rather, we are educated out of it. Being wrong is not the same thing as being creative. However, if you are not prepared to be wrong, you will never come up with anything original. Our schools are currently factories of correctness, which is the antithesis of discovery. The global uniformity. Every education system on earth has the same hierarchy of subjects, no matter where you go: England, America, Pakistan, or Japan. Mathematics and languages are at the top, the humanities, and at the bottom are the arts. Robinson's most biting humor is aimed at how we view the body. We begin to educate children progressively from the waist up, then focus on their heads, and then slightly to one side, the left brain. If an alien visited Earth and asked, "What is public education for?" they would conclude that the whole purpose is to produce university professors. The professor uh, archetype, Robinson's, a former professor himself, describes them as people who live in their heads. They look upon their bodies as transport for their heads. Academic inflation. In the past, a BA meant a job. Now you need an MA for the same job and a PhD for others. It's process of academic inflation that signals the whole structure of education is shifting beneath our feet. The industrial origin. Our current system was invented in the 19th century to meet the needs of industrialism. Two ideas dominate: work utility, don't do music, you won't be musician; don't do art, you won't be an artist. This advice is now profoundly mistaken. Academic ability. The system was designed by universities to produce people like themselves. The three pillars of intelligence. Robinson argues we must rethink intelligence. It is diverse. We think visually, kinetically, and abstractly. Dynamic. The brain is instantly interactive. Creativity is the process of having original ideas that have value. Distinct. Everyone's path is unique. In the 1930s, Gillian was failing school. She was fidgety, could not concentrate, and was a disruption. Today, she would likely be diagnosed with ADHD and medicated. Instead, a wise doctor turned on the radio and watched her. She began to move. He told her mother, "Gillian is not sick, he is a dancer." The result: she went to a dance school where she found people like her, people who had to move to think. She became the uh, choreographer for Cats and Phantom of the Opera. Robinson calls for a new conception of human ecology. We have strip mind or minds for a single commodity, academic success, just as we have strip mind the earth. The final warning: if all insects disappeared, life on earth would end in 50 years. If humans disappeared, life would flourish. We must use our gift of imagination wisely. Conclusion: our task is to educate the whole being of our children. They are the hope for a future we may not see, but they will. Our job is to help them make something of it. Detail how the corpus uh, callosum connects the two halves of the brain, facilitating the multitasking Robinson's mentioned. Discuss how standardized testing has become the primary killer of the curiosity Robinson advocates for. Expand on how the 2006 speech was prophetic regarding the way degrees are not anything in the age of skills based hiring. What would a Robinson approved school look like? It would involve project based learning, equal funding for arts, sports, and the removal of the fear of failure. So this was the analysis of our this TED talk. See you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi